What's up, everybody? T-Wolves 2016 here, and we had a Game 7 that really wasn't at all surprising as to what I thought. Winnipeg wins by a final score of 5-1. Those goals coming from Myers, Stastny, Scheifele, Stastny, and then Scheifele again in the empty net. Watching the game, Winnipeg just outplayed Nashville in this game. There's very little to talk about outside of Winnipeg just outplayed Nashville. Now that will not show up on the stat sheet, and I'm going to get into that. So on the stat sheet, Nashville outshot. Sorry, I have the game stats on my phone. I'm not prepared. Nashville outshot Winnipeg 37-24. They won 50.8% of the faceoffs, meaning they won more than half the faceoffs. They had fewer penalty minutes, and they had the same number of hits. But where Winnipeg really got them is they outblocked them 20-17. They had 10 giveaways to Nashville's 24 and 13 takeaways to Nashville's 7. So that being said, I just think Winnipeg outplayed Nashville. Nashville was trying, and they really were trying. I saw it. You could see it. They were putting everything they could on the net. They outshot Winnipeg 10-8 in the first, and 21-7 in the third. They outshot them 21. They tripled Winnipeg's shot totals, and Winnipeg still got 2 goals in the third period. It comes down to just, I think, team play. I think if you look at a lot of the puck races that were had between the two, the puck races were won by mostly Winnipeg. They were not won by Nashville as much, which led to odd man opportunities. The announcers were on to something. Like what I said in the last video, I don't think I was hoping this would be a game if Rene could bring the confidence he got from getting a shutout in the last game into this game, and he didn't do that. He just simply didn't do that. He got rattled by an early goal that was just a bad goal that it was an odd goal. It wasn't really a horrible goal. They really seemed to play it up a little bit, and I know this is a point of debate, and I'm going to be dealing with flack from each side because I've been talking to my other friends who are hockey fans about it, and they seem to be split on it. I think it's an unlucky goal for Nashville. I don't think it's a soft goal. I think that it's puck luck, And then the second goal was just Pekka Rinne allowed a rebound that was right in front of him, and that's it. And after that second goal, that was the end of Rinne's night. And after they pulled Rinne, they got their only goal of the game with PK Subban, a slap shot, a power play goal to make it 2-1 Winnipeg. But at the time, you had this revitalized sense of, well, they're in it. Winnipeg's not blowing them out when Nashville's staying with them. And I will get with the staying with them part. But even though Winnipeg did not really dominate Nashville on a lot of the offensive scoreboard opportunities, they were out hustling Nashville. They looked more confident than Nashville. They shook Pekka Rinne's confidence early in the game, and they got him pulled. And then UC Saros is really just kind of being thrown in there. I mean, they both allowed 2 goals with an empty net goal at the end, and now Winnipeg is off to face Vegas. This is not a preview of that series yet. I will maybe make a video about that tonight. Probably not. I'm tired. I want to get some sleep. But that being said, we just look at this. If you look at this entire series, I think what the most telling thing of this entire series is how this series played out. So Winnipeg won Game 1. Nashville won Game 2. Winnipeg won Game 3. Nashville won Game 4. Winnipeg won Game 5. Nashville won Game 6. And Winnipeg won Game 7. So just for clarification, not that for my purpose, for my sake, not really yours. Winnipeg won games 1, 3, 5, and 7. Nashville won 2-4-6. What I saw in this series is this would be going back and forth no matter how long you played the series out for. Pekka Rinne, after bouncing back from a loss, is unbelievable, but he can't keep that momentum going when he gets that win. He gets that win and then forgets that win. You know, I get as goalies you're supposed to have short memories, but he needs to have a little bit longer of a memory as it pertains to what he did to shut them out, you know. And I'm not saying anything about the team play. There was some team play issues that were going on, but I don't think that was a big factor. But if you look at this entire series, Winnipeg would go up by a game and Nashville would respond. Winnipeg would go up by a game and Nashville would respond. Winnipeg went up by a game, Nashville responded. And eventually you get to a point of where Nashville needs to win 2 in a row. You know, and they say you're not in trouble in the playoffs until you lose at home. And I believe that's very true. And what was really telling about the series was Nashville lost the first game at home. And from that moment on, I was rooting for Nashville because I go to college near there. But I was rooting for Nashville. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like the reverse of the Washington Capitals Pittsburgh Penguins series. It was there was the reverse result, that is. I wanted Washington to win, but I was 95% positive that Pittsburgh was going to come out and just kill them and move on and play Tampa. Washington ended up winning, and I was genuinely surprised. I kept rooting for Nashville until they got eliminated. I was thinking, you know, I think they can do it. I think they can go out and they can beat Winnipeg. They're the President's Trophy winning team. I don't really think there's a curse on the President's Trophy. I don't think the curse is by winning the President's Trophy. I think the President's Trophy gives the team almost too much confidence going in, because you just can't translate regular season success to playoff success. It's been proven. You know, the last team to do it was the 2010 Hawks. Go Hawks, that's my team, buddy. But the last team to win the Stanley Cup, win the President's Trophy, was the Chicago Blackhawks in the 2010 season. So, in the 09-010 season. So that being said, you know, I think Winnipeg thoroughly outplayed Nashville the entire series. I think Nashville was able to keep it competitive, and I think that was great. I don't think this lived up to the expectations everyone set it to be as a Stanley Cup Finals matchup, but 2 rounds too early. I can't say that, knowing that, you know, there were a lot of games where it didn't really feel like the other team was in it. You know, Winnipeg beat Nashville 4-1. You know, only one game in this series. Okay, 2 games in this series were decided by 1 goal. All the others was a 3-goal deficit in game 1, a 3-goal deficit in game 2, or in game 3, that is, a 4-goal deficit in game 5, a 4-goal deficit in game 6, and a 4-goal deficit in game 7. So the team that was winning by, on average, 3 to 4 goals. Now, it was with the exceptions of games 2 and 4, which Nashville won. I think that's another thing that's really telling about this series. 100%, just being honest, I think that's one thing that's super telling about this series is the Nashville won games 2 and 4 by 1 goal. And when they won in overtime, they blew a lead late in the 3rd period, and they had to go to a double overtime. And Kevin Fiala, one of my favorite players, because he's just so much fun to watch on the ice, Kevin Fiala scores the overtime winner and puts Nashville tied 1-1 in the series. That would be the only game that would go into overtime, and that's fine. But that being said, 2 of the 3 games Nashville won were by 1 goal. I feel like they were struggling to keep up with Winnipeg, and that sometimes they were able to keep up with Winnipeg, but not exactly outplay them. And so looking forward, just a little bit. I don't think Nashville has anything to be ashamed of. They played their hearts out. They just got outplayed. The good thing is, I think they're still going to be a threatening team next year. I think they're still a playoff contention. You know, I have certain teams in my mind that I look at and I go, this team should make the playoffs. And I say should, because you look at a team like the Blues, and I'm a Hawks fan and I'm saying this. You look at the team like the Blues, and they should be in the playoffs just with that roster. Maybe don't trade your star center at the trade deadline to a division rival when you're one game out of a wild card spot, and maybe you'll make the playoffs next time. Only mildly salty about that because they missed out on the playoffs by 1 point. So they literally finished where they were at the trade deadline because they went on a huge ass skid, and then they had to try to build it back up, and it just didn't work. So that being said, Connor Hellebuyck was definitely great and amazing during this series. Winnipeg was getting offense from everyone. I still don't think Laine really got going. I think he got a couple of goals, but I don't really think he got going. Mark Scheifele, though, he's been the story of this series. He has been scoring. He's been assisting. He's been tearing it up in these playoffs. And he's been tearing it up against good goaltenders. He's been scoring on Pekka Rinne. You know, I don't know if he scored on UC Saros. I'd have to look that up. But he scored on Devin Dubnyk. You know, he may have scored on Stalock. So he scored on two Garrett bona fide starters and two goalies who at least should have been in the Vezina candidacy in the last 2 years. Dubnyk was amazing last year. He wasn't as great this year, but he was amazing last year. You know, I'm really looking forward to see what Scheifele can do, if anything, against Marc-Andre Fleury, because Marc-Andre Fleury is playing like he was back in Pittsburgh. And I just think that's really cool to see how well Marc-Andre Fleury is playing. So that being said, Predators, I feel for you. I let out a huge sigh once it was 4-1, and when they put the empty netter in, I'm like, you know, it was a great season, guys. You won the first President's Trophy. I know it's not the trophy you wanted to take home at the end of the day, but it's something. You still got a solid defensive core. You know, Pekka Rinne, although spotty in the playoffs, still a very good goaltender. I think you got a few more good seasons out of him before he's, you know, in the Hendrik Lundqvist levels of not being competitive anymore. And I hate saying that, but Lundqvist is getting old. Just kind of how it is. He's getting old, and I think passing on the torch to Georgiev was pretty cool. I think it would have been better for New York had they kept Ronta and then had Ronta start taking over the starter's job from Lundqvist, but they traded him to Arizona, and then he started tearing it up a little bit. So either way, Nashville is out of the playoffs, and the Western Conference Finals are set, with Winnipeg set to face Las Vegas and Tampa Bay set to face Washington. Quick prediction for each of those series, and as I like to call them, the jinxing of the let the jinxing commence, because whoever I pick to win the series is probably going to lose. I mean, I picked Jets to win the series in Nashville, so I guess I was right there. I didn't jinx them. But for the Jets Pred series, or the Jets, sorry, I'm talking about the Jets and Knights series, I think is going to be a really good series, and it's going to come down to whether Marc-Andre Fleury can really shut the door on elite goal scorers like Patrick Laine, Dustin Byfuglien, Mark Scheifele, Nikolai Ehlers, you know, and then you've got Little, you've got Wheeler, you've got so many, you know, Trouba, Kyle Connor, you've got so many people on the Winnipeg Jets team that are so capable of offense that I think it'd be really cool to see that. I'll probably rehash this in another video going over my predictions for the next round. My prediction for Tampa, Washington, Tampa in 6. My prediction for Winnipeg and Las Vegas. Vegas in 7. So however you found this video, thank you for watching. I hope you have a great morning, evening, day, dusk, twilight, dawn. I don't care what it is. Thank you for watching this video. Have a great day, and, happy playoffs. Peace.